You believe in Jesus? You believe in Prophet Muhammad?
Well,
What
I
do you
definitely
believe
don't
in the
believe
Prophet?
in Jesus.
Okay, that's
Okay. We're starting right off the bat. He said, I definitely don't believe in Jesus. What's good, y'all? This is Joseph Madigan. Madigan, don't get me Madigan. And we are going to be reacting to something very different today. So, I wanted to kind of react to this clip about it's on Hotboxing with Mike Tyson clips, okay? And the title is Jesus is Obviously an Ancient Myth, with Bill Maher and Tyson talking about religion. So we're going to talk about it. I haven't seen the clip yet, so we're going to just get our first reactions. Now, don't expect me to come with like all these theological sources to kind of debate with these guys, but we're going to address the logic and just my open thoughts on what is being talked about and what's being said. So if you love reactions, you love reactions to Christian content or just content in general, go ahead and subscribe. And I got a lot of people that watch these videos, and most of them are not subscribed, so please take time to subscribe and put on those post bell notifications. And we're gonna get into this clip and let's see what it's about.
you believe in Jesus? You believe in Prophet Muhammad?
Well, I definitely don't believe in Jesus.
Okay, that's
Okay. We're starting right off the bat. He said, I definitely don't believe in Jesus. I mean, Jesus is proven to be a historical character, and there's documents that are secular in nature that prove that he was a person. So is he talking about he doesn't believe in Jesus as a historical figure based on eyewitness accounts? Or is he saying that he doesn't believe that Jesus was the Son of God? I don't know. Let's get into it.
cool. Why not?
Why not?
I'm just curious.
I think the better question is why? Why would I? Because I'm not 10. Okay.
This man, but people would teach about Santa Claus. Okay. This man said, because I'm not 10. Like Jesus was a fairy tale, not a historical figure, just a fairy tale, something we just make up when we're young. Man.
Okay, because I mean, it's obviously an ancient myth, and even the Jesus story, his biography, is completely unoriginal. All the gods that came before him had like the same birthday
and the same story though as well.
Same story, the same, yes, disciples, like 12 people. Many of them were crucified.
The Sumerians
on
had
some
the same Jesus.
Yeah, they took.
Yeah, but none of those stories have historical backing to them. The life of Jesus does. But I digress. Go ahead, Bill.
Stories that were going around the Mediterranean at the time, and they grafted it onto the life of Jesus. I mean, the reason why his birthday is December 25th.
That's actually not correct. His birthday is not December 25th, but okay.
It's because that was
the shortest day of the year. You were telling me something.
Yes, right. Because that was the day that the sun started to, when days started to get longer again, so that the people in the pagan times celebrated that day because it meant that we're going to live again, because the days kept getting shorter and shorter and shorter in the winter.
And why is Jesus so embedded in our brain?
We're going to die. The days are going to get shorter until there's nothing.
This is what I want to know. Why is Jesus so embedded in so many people's brain, even people that are Buddhists and all that?
Well, I'll tell you. I mean, there's some very interesting scholarship done on this. There were lots of religions at the time. Of course, there are many that preceded Christianity. Absolutely. The reason why that one caught on is because because they grafted these familiar elements onto it, like his birthday and stuff.
As someone that is a believer, I don't just believe because of a birthday. Like, I don't know where this guy gets his logic from, but there are many people that experience healing, different miracles that are unexplainable. I mean, all my life to this point has been obedience to God, like me literally hearing a word from God and acting on it and seeing it come to pass. So there's no way that Jesus is not real and that communication and relationship with God is not real. No one can convince me otherwise because I was skeptical. And, you know, when I was skeptical, I said, God, show me. Show me who you are. Show me, and I'll serve you for a year. I actually told God this. I said, I'll serve you for a year, my whole heart. I just want you to show me who you are and show me that you're real. 3 months, I was never the same after that. And it wasn't because of just this enlightening, positive thought process that brought me to this place. No, it was like detailed things were happening in my life to prove that God was involved in it. And you can never tell me that that many coincidences can just happen. Like the time I forgave my dad, he randomly visited me 2 weeks later and put his hand on my shoulder, said that he was proud of me. But it was almost like when he said that, God was telling me he was proud of me for forgiving him. But not even just that situation, real situations where I've casted out demons in real life. How do you explain that, Bill? How do you explain people rolling on the ground that are demon possessed and then something leaving them not knowing consciously what happened that whole time? And you're going to tell me that that is a myth too? Maybe I look crazy because I actually dived into it. And this is a lot of the times when people have skepticism, it's like even the fact that he believes that most Christians, which I mean, most Christians do, but that Jesus' birthday is on the 25th. I don't believe that. They were even on a different calendar. I know it's different. I know there's a couple of brothers of mine that have really researched and looked into it, but it's just funny how people that aren't involved with Jesus or the religion of Christianity have little to no research on both ends of the spectrum. It's always this bias, scientific, secular view, which we won't even get into that because honestly, if he was even to say all gods were an ancient myth and he believes he's an atheist, well, atheism goes against the laws of science because nothing can happen unless there's an equal or opposite reaction. I mean, what is it? For every action, there is an opposite or equal reaction, right? And so, like, for there to be a Big Bang would be the same concept as bread just morphing and multiplying in front of my desk. Those are the chances that nothing would collapse upon nothing and create the universe. So you would have to deny an intelligent designer. And to deny an intelligent designer is to say that out of nothing came something, which is very illogical and goes against the principles, fundamentals of science.
Stuff like that, and he's coming back to life. That was an old story. But part of it that was revolutionary was his message that when it really gets good for you is in the afterlife. Now, we're talking about a Roman Empire that was at least half slave, you know.
It's not
I mean,
more.
people think slavery was an American invention. It was not.
No.
Everybody in the Bible had them. The word slave comes from Slav, and there's nobody whiter in the world than Slavs. That slavery has been around since the beginning of time, and mostly it wasn't even a racial thing, simply because people weren't living in an area where there were people of other races. It's just human nature, brutal human nature, to make other people your slave if you possibly can. Now, we have come a long way since that time, but in the Bible, nobody even thought to condemn it. There's lots of rules about slavery in the Bible. None of them are don't do it. They never even thought to say that. Like, don't do it. God's perfectly okay with it. His boy Jesus is perfectly okay with it. They have rules like, if a man kills your slave, you may kill his slave. Oh, okay. That sounds like a good rule. But nobody ever said, maybe we shouldn't do this. Maybe we should put that in the 10. Maybe we should put that in the 10.
See, that those are the kind of things too that I wouldn't comment on, because I feel like I'm not educated in those areas. I haven't done the proper research in those areas to answer those questions. I would love to do that. Maybe someone in the comments has, and you guys can comment about the concept of slavery and in the Bible. I know there has been people that have walked away from the faith because they were wrestling with the idea that God was okay with slavery. This is definitely a point that I don't understand much. But usually too, it's like, there's a lot we don't understand. You know what I mean? Like, there's a lot about life, about our brains, about our bodies that we still don't understand. There's a lot about our perception of realities, our perceptions of culture, and life as it exists now, and how everything falls into place that we do not understand. So I'm okay sometimes with not understanding and experiencing and diving into what I know to be true by experiencing it and walking into it. So, I would love to hear if anybody has, an opinion or something to talk about on his talk point there, because that would be one that I would say, man, I don't understand that. And I should dig into it, and get more understanding. But even then, sometimes you just get to these points in faith and with God where, you sit there and you want to question God or question Jesus and the way he did things. And for me, I will not step into that boat of pride to pretend like I understand what is eternal already. You know what I mean? That's just my take on that.
I never read the Bible, so I don't know.
Well, I have.
Right.
You didn't dig it?
That's honest.
Reading?
Well, as a historical document, it's interesting, and it's
He admits it's a historical document.
Certainly fundamental to understanding our civilization. So I took it as scholarship when I was in college. But do I believe it? Of course not. It was written by people in the Bronze Age who didn't know what a germ or an atom was. It's a bunch of...
Does he understand most of the philosophers that are still renowned to this day were in the same position? They're not like young and 20th century people.
Bunch of nonsense, and it's wicked. Also, it's full of ethnic cleansing, slavery. Again, just the fact that slavery is not condemned. They have a list of 10 things you absolutely should not do, but slavery and rape are not on the list.
This is
how ridiculous is that?
About?
The Bible, yes, the Bible.
It's actually quite ironic because the Bible, I think, is like the most sold book.
But isn't there so many? I don't know. I don't want to say nothing.
The most like bought book anywhere.
Look, Mike's trying not to go there. he's like, I don't know enough. I haven't read it, which is smart, honestly. Like, if you don't know something, don't try to dive into it. like you're an expert on the topic, or be so emotionally attached to your ideas that you're not critically thinking about them, you know?
Well, yes, it's the Bible. I mean, most people, less and less as time goes on, thanks partly to me, are less and less religious. But I mean, it's still mostly a religious country. Mostly people will say they believe in something. Now, shout out to my millennial friends. They're the first generation to be less than 50%, I think, who have a religious affiliation.
So let's talk about this. We're gonna end this here, and then we're gonna chop it up and talk about this. There's a lot that's said here, right? And you know, as someone that believes, obviously, I'm totally sitting back and not taking it like, not like I'm gonna take it personal. You know what I mean? But you see at the end there, he's talking about like how shout out to all the people that aren't believing or having religion in this day and age, and he thinks that's a good thing. But does anybody notice his expressions? Does anybody notice like how stoic he is? I just don't understand when people take this position, but then I look at their life and I'm like, you don't look happy at all. And I know you can't just tell that just by someone's demeanor, but people do carry a persona, and it doesn't look like he's a jolly person. But that's besides the fact. Regardless, you know, I'm a fan of facts, and I'm a fan of learning and being a student of life in general. And I'm not too emotionally attached to religious ideas that I do not critically think outside of them. And when I say that, for instance, is the Bible, some of the stories in the Bible were passed down oral traditions. Well, you know, after someone has said a story so many times, obviously it changes from person to person. So I remember even being in a class with a teacher, and he challenged me, and he said, you know, do you think it was written the way it actually was, right? Then you have to question, do you believe that the Bible is infallible, like it has no error, which would be my belief? Or do you think there was room for it to change based on perception, culture, and different things that influenced it? I think that God communicates to us in his own way, right? And in a way that we understand. So even when we're talking about someone being influenced, and like, I believe that God is strategic enough that even if he was to impress it upon someone, he's going to give it to them in the way that they can receive it and relay the message that he wants to relay. So tell me what your guys' thoughts are on this video. How did it make you feel? Did it make you think? Did it make you want to challenge it? Go in the comments and tell me if you're Christian or not. What are your thoughts on the video, and what do you think? I'm not looking at this from just a bias. Obviously, I'm only looking at, well, I guess it is biased because it's my life. It's my life. It's what I'm living out. So, but at the same time, I'm open for all conversations. So, and I welcome any of you to come on here and maybe, you know, even side with these ideas and tell why you feel like his opinion is coming from a concrete standpoint, and we could just have a discussion about it. So y'all already know what it is, man. We came to lift up our body. So let's talk about this, and subscribe if you haven't subscribed. Go ahead and turn on post bell notifications, and we can have more talks like this soon. God bless y'all. Let's go.